Hi, my name's Jo. I'm starting to learn about herbal medicine and I'm putting this on the internet in case it helps anybody and so I can meet other people doing the same thing. Like I say, I'm right at the very beginning, so I'll show you the book I've been learning from. This is the Encyclopedia of Medicinal Plants by Andrew Chevalier, published by Dorling Kindersley. It's a big reference book with lots of information, a page each on the top 100 herbs they've chosen and more about some others. It tells you how to harvest, prepare and use herbs, and it's got some information about the history of them as well. Good indexes. I'm enjoying reading that. Right, so what I've started out today with is what we've got a lot of, is some nettles. I live in Cumbria, but I expect to get them all over Britain. It's July while I'm filming this, and they're slightly old looking, not as fresh as they were. I've heard if you beat them back or cut them down, they grow up fresh, but I've not had a chance to do that. So I'm picking them with some seeds on the tops. So I'll have a close up on them and I'll show you. So here's a bowl full of nettle tops, and use some sharp scissors. The next herb I'm going to gather is lady's mantle, which was in our garden, and I only realised what it was when I went to look round a herb garden on holiday. So I'll just show you a close-up of that. Here we go. So it's a fairly big plant, about half a metre across, but it was also a lot smaller than that when we first put it in. You can see the flowers have come out. I've just been doing a bit of research because my book wasn't clear whether you use the flowers or the leaves or the stalks, and I believe it's the flowers and the leaves, so I've cut some. I'll show you them. I've cut this with the same sharp scissors. I've gone for youngish looking leaves because there are some quite big dry looking ones on the plant, and I've cut this after the nettles because this is a herb that pregnant women can't take, so I didn't want any of it on the nettle leaves, any cross contamination. Right, well I've got the herbs ready for drying, so I'll show you them now. So there's not a lot of difference to see. I've just spread the lady's mantle out a bit, and I've put the nettles on a baking tray as well. I've read that you're supposed to put them on big sheets of paper or hang them up in clumps, but I don't have any large bits of paper, and I don't think it's a good idea to hang them up in clumps as there will be seeds and flowers and they could drop off. So I've gone for the baking tray idea. I'm going to put them in the airing cupboard. The alternative to that I've read is baking them on a low heat in the oven, but if I can get away with the airing cupboard I'll do that. You can also air dry them, hanging them from the ceiling in different places, but I've read that's not so good because it takes a bit longer and it doesn't preserve as many of the ingredients in the flowers and herbs. I've not washed them because the point is that they're dry, so if you wash them they can go mouldy. I've picked them at about lunchtime on a warm dry day. I should really have picked them before 12 o'clock because the longer they're warmer for in the day, the more the oils that contain the good ingredients can evaporate off, but at least they're dry and they seem clean, so I avoided any leaves with any signs that might have had bird dirt on or any really close to the ground. So that's the herbs installed in the airing cupboard. I forgot to say it also has to be a dark place, so I'll check back on them and I'm hoping they'll dry within a few days. So I've just got the herbs out of the airing cupboard, and it is about a month later because I didn't get a chance to do this, so I think that's not ideal, but they look okay. I'll zoom in on them. So there's the lady's mantle. I can tell by looking at it that it's dry. I don't know if it's coming out on the video. And here's the nettle, which does look quite a lot different. It's a lot flatter. So now I'm going to break them up and take out the main stems, and I've washed my hands thoroughly and dried them on a clean tea towel before I do this. Here are the two herbs separated. I've taken out the bigger stems as it says to do in my book, and this will help store them I imagine because they're smaller volumes now. So I'll zoom in. The nettle's still quite a large volume. I could break the leaves up, but I'm not sure whether to do that because it could help them degrade more easily. So next I'll show you how I'm going to store them. So here we go. I've put the herbs in 2 clean and new brown paper bags. And my book says that you can put them in brown paper bags or in dark glass jars. And I don't have any dark glass jars, so I'm going to put the paper bags inside these cleaned out jam jars just to be sure. And the jam jars now don't smell of what was in them, which I imagine is quite important. So the brown in the paper will keep the light out, but I'll also put them in a cupboard, and the jam jars will keep out the air and the moisture. So these things should stop the herbs degrading. And my book says you can keep them for up to 12 months, and you see I put the dates on them, so I want them to be effective when I use them. So I'll now show you what I'm going to do with them. I've decided to make a cup of nettle tea, which is the same as an infusion. And my book says to put 1 teaspoon of dried nettles, 1 teaspoon of dried herbs rather, into each cup. I've put 2 teaspoons because the leaves are quite big and bulky. I've not broken them up. And here's the boiling water. So I'll pour that on the leaves and leave it for 10 minutes. Here's my cup of nettle tea or nettle infusion. See, the seeds have floated to the top. I've had a plate over the top of it so any volatile compounds don't get evaporated away and lost. And I've realised that I need to get the bits out, so I'm going to pour it into this other cup using a tea strainer. Now, it doesn't smell all that great to be honest, but I'll have a try of it. Well, it tastes okay. It's a bit like water you've boiled the vegetables in, but it does taste a bit like the nettle tea I've bought in the past, which is an encouraging sign. So nettle is a diuretic, which helps you get rid of water from your body by passing more urine. It also detoxifies you, so you pass away toxins. And it's an anti-inflammatory, and it's got iron in it and potassium, so lots of good things in nettle tea. The main reason I've dried the herb is to practice doing it, and so that we'll have some over the winter, which is good. And I might try using the lady's mantle as a poultice, which is where you put the wet herb on your skin and wrap a bandage around it. And lady's mantle is good for stopping bleeding apparently, so I'm interested to do that. So that's all the video for now. I hope you liked it. Let me know if I've done anything that you think is wrong and needs a bit of correction, because I don't mind that. And hopefully see you again soon. Bye!